Pre-poll voting centres have opened across Australia and the first postal votes are in the mail. And more than 4 million of the nation's 15.5 million enrolled voters are tipped to cast their ballot before polling day on July the 2nd. Here's political editor Chris Hillman.
The posters are up.
There's no discernible mood for change.
The candidates and volunteers are pumped.
We're in with a very good chance here.
The polls are open and people are voting.
Mostly independents.
Pre-poll is supposed to be a service for those who can't vote on July the 2nd.
Travelling, perhaps going into hospital even, or can't leave their workplace.
But it is open to interpretation.
I'm 92 and I can't climb up the hill to the school on the day.
So from Melbourne to Perth and all points north and south, the hunt for every ballot is now on in earnest. Because the stakes are high.
Perhaps between 30 and 40% of Australians may well vote between now and July the 2nd.
And the leaders are sharpening their pitches.
We are the only side in this election that has a clear plan that will deliver stronger economic growth and more jobs.
They can choose Labor's great plans for jobs, for education, for Medicare.
The Greens are staking out their territory in the heart of capital cities.
We're feeling very good about our chances in those inner Melbourne seats.
And a wild card is rattling the major parties in South Australia.
If you're a Labor voter, I'd like to think that they would go to the Nick Xenophon team ahead of the Libs and vice versa.
The polls say this is a 50-50 contest, but both sides believe the coalition is leading where it counts, with 17 days left in the race. Campaigns run on cash, and this afternoon Perth's Gentry rolled up to a Liberal Party fundraiser to meet the Prime Minister.
Prime Minister, did they get their $10,000 worth?
While his opponent shared a candid moment.
I'm in a completely different place than I thought I'd be 6 months ago, and that's definitely down to blue.
What matters is not where you start, but where you finish. Chris Hillman, ABC News, Canberra.
The Coalition has more than doubled Labor's election pledge to help clean up contamination on defence bases. It's been revealed that toxic firefighting foams have leached into the ground and water systems at Williamstown near Newcastle. Residents say they welcome the money, but they're cynical about the timing. Philippa McDonald reports from Williamstown.
Rihanna Gorfine lives with her 3 children in the red zone of the contamination from the RAAF base at Williamstown.
We're not to eat the eggs and we're not to use the bore water.
Lindsay and Anne Clout run a nursery 6 kilometres from the Air Force base.
It just stops your life. All of a sudden people have invested in these properties thinking, well, this is what I'm going to retire on, and because of the contamination, property values have plummeted.
Labor has committed $21 million and the Coalition has now promised $55 million to tackle the crisis. The Defence Department has identified 18 sites where substantial quantities of toxic firefighting foams were likely to have been used.
We'll be able to meet the needs of Williamstown residents and others within that budget.
In Queensland, furious locals marched to the Oakey Aviation Base on the Darling Downs. A toxic firefighting foam from the base contaminated local groundwater and made surrounding farmland virtually unusable.
How would they like their home or their asset base to be now zero?
The pain is being felt deeply by fishermen near Williamstown.
Oh, it just fell apart completely. I'd say 80% of our living's gone.
Already 400 residents and business people in this area have joined a class action to sue the Defence Department for economic loss, a figure which they say runs into tens of millions of dollars and far exceeds the amounts promised by both major political parties.
You can't help but being cynical because we are 4 weeks out of an election.
While the campaign pledges have offered some comfort, they won't provide a quick fix for people who can't see a bright future.